Press the button, my friend.
The Out of Bounds Show is live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge in the Bank Plus studio.
Check it out.
Good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck, baby, in Gluckstadt. RPT in Gluckstadt. Jeeps, trucks, SUVs, accessorized bumper to bumper. Blake and I picked up our full set of tires and wheels from RPT and Rick's Pro Truck in Gluckstadt. RicksProTruck.com. RicksProTruck.com. This is 105.9 The Zone ESPN. We're efforting Bill Shanks, Georgia Insider, on the Out of Bounds Show. Our guests join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. And hope you're doing well today. We've all been locked into the Sandestin spring meetings. I'm not sure they've gotten anything done, but hopefully they have. Mark Stoops, believe it or not, has stole the show. Most people don't know who Mark Stoops is, especially in the SEC West. So Mark Stoops is the head football coach at Kentucky. And Kirby Smart was talking about complaining that he wasn't able to recruit on Georgia's march through the college football playoff. Semifinal game, championship game. You know, they're the darling of college football, number one program now. And evidently they met a month or two ago in Birmingham. And Kirby Smart's complaining, hey, I didn't have enough time to recruit on the way to marching to the national championship. And Mark Stoops had the best quote all week in Sandestin, because most of it's been nonsense and boring. And he looked down at Kirby Smart at this meeting within the last month or two in Birmingham with all the SEC football coaches. And this is what he said to Kirby Smart. There's no crying from the yacht. Amen. Amen. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Our guests join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. We welcome in Bill Shanks, Georgia Insider, who has got that chest out after back-to-back national championships. And can they do what's never been done and win 3 in a row? And you have to kind of make them the favorite, even over Bama and LSU. There's nobody outside the league, I think, that can take those 3 teams this year. Not Ohio State, not Clemson, damn sure not Texas, not Michigan, not Southern Cal. So here we go. Bill Shanks joins us on the show. Bill Shanks, how does it feel to be a national champion today?
2-time national champion.
Sorry.
Watch it. We like correct labels around here. 2-time defending national champions.
Is there ever are you going to the beach this summer at all with your family or anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, which beach do you go down to, the Panhandle, or do you go over to Georgia or South? Which beach do you go to?
No, I go to Fernandina Beach, Florida. That's I'm actually in and from Waycross, Georgia. And so our beach is Fernandina Beach, which is an hour and a half away. It's right north of Jacksonville.
Okay. All right, great. And do you make sure to wear Georgia gear every day, just in case you run into a Bama fan or a Florida fan or some kind of SEC fan? How does that work?
Yeah, I have custom-made polos, Bo, where I have a Georgia logo on there, and underneath it I say it reads objective.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have any other SEC? So now that y'all are back-to-back champs and you're running this empire, Kirby is the toast of the world of college football, and y'all done it in a resounding manner. And now that Ohio State game was good, but good grief. So, do you have any family that's SEC fans, but they're not Georgia fans in your family, that you get to really let them know how good you are and Georgia has been?
Oh no, I don't. We only have UGA fans in my family. I would disown them and waterboard them if they rooted for someone else.
Okay, all right. So Bill Shanks out of Macon, Georgia Insider, is going to the beach north of Jacksonville this year, and he's going to let everybody know again that Georgia is a national champ. Would you put Georgia as the all right, you got a new QB. You had some guys shuffle out, but, Kirby and the staff have been signing nothing but 4- and 5-star players. So how would you frame it up here on the last day of May? Would you frame it up as the Georgia Bulldogs are the overwhelming favorite for this year or the slight favorite, Bill?
Well, I mean, it's going to sound cocky for a Georgia fan to say overwhelming favorite, but I have yet to find there are teams that bother me and worry me for Georgia in their quest for a third straight. But I think that there are a lot of reasons to watch or to see the Georgia depth chart and even objectively say, but they're going to be hard to beat. So I think a strong favorite is fair. I mean, look, Alabama, I don't know what their quarterback situation is. I mean, I think we know, but I'm not sure if we do, which is Ty Simpson. I don't buy the Milroe stuff, and I think the other guy was brought in for backup in case Milroe leaves. But I don't see another team that stacks up, even with the question Georgia has, well, what will Carson Beck do? I mean, I think you just look around this team. I mean, look, seriously, what Georgia fans are going through now is a complete 360 of what used to happen. I actually, Bo, you'll get a kick out of this because I used to come on your show and do this all the time. I had a guy in Atlanta send me an audio clip, and he said this is, and he's actually on my Twitter account. This is why I started listening to Bill Shanks, and it was like a 7-minute rant after Georgia lost to Florida in 2015, where I went off on Mark Richt, and truthfully, everything that I said was true, and has come to pass as far as Georgia's ability and potential to be a better program. But still, even with that, there's a pinch me thing that continues to go on here about, my God, this is just unbelievable of the difference between what they had in Mark Richt. And again, I came on your show, I've been coming on your show for 10 years, and I was complaining about that and what's going on now. This roster, 1 through 85, or probably 1 through 90, is ridiculous. It's unbelievable how talented this roster is. I mean, look, they go and, okay, they lost A.D. Mitchell. Well, they get Dominic Lovett and Ron Thomas. I mean, it's incredible what Kirby has built.
It is incredible. No question about it. So you'll have a new offensive coordinator in Mike Bobo, right? Because Monken went to the NFL.
Yes.
And you've got a new quarterback in Carson Beck, who nobody knows, but they'll know sooner than later. And then you've got a new OC. Now, I don't see a game. Is there a game y'all could even think about? Okay, Game 5. And this is still a reach. Game 5 at Auburn. Yeah. If the Carson Beck, Mike Bobo thing isn't completely ginning, could that at least be a somewhat competitive game, Bill Shanks?
Well, look, Auburn is going to have 50% turnover in their roster. Who knows? I mean, they've got a better coach. They've got a coach they want.
Sure.
I don't know what, all these teams like A&M and Auburn and Florida, heck, for all we know, they may be better with the turnover they've got. We don't know how the new players, the transfers plus the freshmen are going to come together to make a team. They don't know. It's like Hugh Freeze and Jimbo Fisher and Billy Napier, just to name three, are three of the most, and heck, Ole Miss and Arkansas aren't too far behind, right? Are several of the coaches who have extreme turnover, and therefore a game like that, and I don't think Florida is going to be very good. I don't. But I think Auburn is a team with those receivers that if they lock down on a quarterback, and I've got a friend that continues to tell me Robbie Ashford's going to be their quarterback no matter what the transfer does in August. I mean, they're an interesting team, but I mean, I think still you have to have a near perfect game to beat this Georgia team this year. So, look, Kentucky is a team. If Devin Leary,
they're not. They're not.
Well,
They're
look,
not.
You don't know what if Devin Leary's healthy. Devin Leary's a very good quarterback.
But
And
Mark
their
Stoops
receivers
can't
are very
coach outfit or can't hire anybody that. I mean, they're so anemic on offense. It's good hell.
Well,
They
but
can't do it.
they've got two of the best young receivers, I think, with the Key Kid and Brown in the league.
I'm
They're
not
very-
going to disagree with you there. They are
Yeah,
very
I mean,
talented.
So if that offensive line is better, Bo, that's going to be a more interesting team like they were 2 years ago. Now, if they were like they were last year, they're not going to be anything. But, I mean, there are games that Georgia and I'll throw Tennessee in there. I'll respect Tennessee. I mean, I think Tennessee, if the kid is good, okay. If Milton is good, we'll see what they have. I mean, they lost a lot. Tennessee lost a lot of receivers that produce a lot for them. So I think we've got to see about them. But there are games I think Georgia has to be careful for. I'll say it that way.
Okay. All right. Bill Shanks, Sports Talk Radio, Georgia Insider, out of Macon, among other affiliates. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Georgia is riding high. I do love Mark Stoops' comment to Kirby. Don't you, though? There's no crying from the yacht?
Well, it's a big yacht right now, and it's I mean, look, when you have it's like all the years we've had to put up with Saban. Now people have got to put up with Kirby, and Kirby is in a situation where anything he says is going to be scrutinized, and people are going to say, "Well, dude, shut up! You've won 2 in a row," you know. So, and that was the same for Saban. Anything Saban says, we're going to say, "Good gosh, you know, how many rings you got on your finger? Go get a life, brother."
Right.
So, I mean. But that comes to the territory. Anything Kirby says to a program like that is not going to be able to compete with the Georgia. You know, look, Georgia has had the perfect storm with the right person, the right drive and passion. I mean, look, one of the things that people need to realize, and you mentioned Mike Bobo, that's dangerous about this situation now. I love Mike Bobo, okay? Mike Bobo, last year Mike Bobo was the OC before he left for Colorado State. You know how many points they averaged? 41.2. And yet, because of one play in Columbia, when he passed it instead of ran the ball on like 3rd and goal from the 3, everybody remembers that one play, and they questioned Mike Bobo. They averaged 41 points per game the last year he was there. But the dangerous part about the situation now is with Will Muschamp as the DC. Say what you want about him as a head coach, but he's a really good defensive coach and a co-defensive coordinator with Glenn Schumann. And Mike Bobo is the OC. And Kirby, those are 3 best friends that all went to the University of Georgia. There's nobody in the country that can compete with that hierarchy on their coaching staff that have the experience and also with the passion for their team. I mean, the passion for their program. Those 3 guys loved University of Georgia. They played there, and that's why when they go recruit, that's a large part of the recruiting success, Bo, is those guys were able to go into a recruit's house and say, look, I played there. I know what it's like there. I can tell you how good it's going to be. And that's a huge advantage for this program right now. Huge.
How much money have you heard? You don't have to say exact. What are the rumors that you've heard? Because we're all about rumors on this show. As far as how much football NIL money Georgia has raised and spent.
Oh, I mean, I hear different amounts that, I don't know. I wouldn't even want to spat out an amount because, I mean, you hear all kind of different
6 million?
things. I mean,
7 million?
Oh, I think it's probably more.
North of 10?
I mean, I think so, but I don't know how much that's divvied up. I mean, I think the one thing I've heard is that I think is fair to say, someone told me not too long ago, someone who knows Kirby, they said, they went to school with Kirby, they were in a fraternity with Kirby, they said, let me tell you something. They told me this about a month ago. They said, Kirby Smart was about our smartest guy in our fraternity. He was real sharp, and he's figured out this NIL thing. He's figured out how to orchestrate it effectively to make sure his players are happy. And that's what coaches are going to have to do. They can shrug their shoulders and say, I don't have nothing to do with NIL. But if there's a mechanism in place to effectively make it happen to where the players are going to be happy, then that's going to help your team and your roster construction, which is the most important part of a coach's job almost right now.
Sure.
And so I think that's something that when I heard that, that was very interesting. You know, that Kirby's figured it out. He knows, and I've heard a little bit more about the process of what he does, but I mean, I don't know for sure that, so I wouldn't want to say.
Okay,
that
let me
really,
ask you this: who do you think is the highest paid player via NIL on Georgia's team?
It may be Dominic Lovett. It may be him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answers to those questions, Bo. I really don't.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Are you for we're talking scheduling, and are you for the 9 game? Are you for the 3 permanent and the 6 rotation? What is Bill Shanks?
How long you got left in this segment?
Well, I've got a few minutes.
I think that the 9-game schedule is extremely important. I think that the more conference games we have to watch are extremely important. I think the cash for clunker games are the dumbest thing that is in college football. There's nothing healthy about college football cash for clunker games. These teams are doing a disservice to their fan base. For example, and it's because of the Oklahoma thing. Everybody talks about Georgia's schedule. I get it. But Oklahoma had to come off the schedule. It would look a little bit better if Oklahoma was on it. But Georgia plays UT Martin, Ball State, and UAB.
It's unacceptable.
Who gives a damn? It is awful. And look, Kirby's led the way on scheduling. There's, even more than Saban, and Saban is right there with him. But those two, Kirby and Saban, have led the way on scheduling great games. But there are still these cash for clunker games, as I call them, on the schedule that are horrible. Look, on September the 2nd, people all around the state of Georgia are going to get up and go to Athens because they want to see Georgia for the first time on the field since they won a national championship. They'll raise a banner, they'll have a nice little sing-along, and it'll be great. But then they play freaking UT Martin. Who gives a damn? And there's nothing good about that. I mean,
I could not agree more.
They need to play Power 5 schools. We need to play them. 2020 taught us the only good thing that happened in 2020 was the SEC played everybody in the conference. It was great football. It was better football. It was a better brand of football. If these damn schools want to play these stupid cash for clunker games and give a damn check for beating somebody's ass, they need to do it as a preseason game in August and not during the season. Fans do not want to get up and drive 2, 3, 4 hours to go to a university town to watch a team get their brains beat out, and then you leave in the third quarter and get back to your damn tailgate and drink like a fish. We want good football games. We want good competitive football games. And look, when they go to a 12-team playoff, they're going to have more competitive teams on their schedule because I don't think it's going to help to have the Ball States on their schedule at all. So the first thing they've got to do is have a 9-game schedule in the conference to make sure that we're playing as many good conference games as possible. I don't want to hear no crying about, well, so-and-so's got Kentucky on their schedule or Georgia has got this or Vanderbilt. Hey, look, I mean, it's like, for example, Nick Saban, they're already playing Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn, so why does he give a damn if they're playing them all every year anyway? They're already playing them. So we need as many conference games as possible. We need competitive football games. We need Power 5 conference teams playing Power 5 conference teams. And we need to get rid of the UT Martins and Ball States on these schedules. It's ridiculous and bad for the sport. And here's the thing. We had this last week when we were talking about the Georgia-Florida situation in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Kirby, I disagree with Kirby tremendously on whether the game should stay in Jacksonville. Now, I'm from South Georgia. I'm right here right now. I'm 75 miles from that stadium. I've always loved the game being in Jacksonville. Don't tell me that you're at a recruiting disadvantage, Kirby, by having one game a year at a neutral site in Jacksonville, Florida, when you have Ball State coming to Athens, because you can't tell me that that's a good recruiting weekend for you to bring any damn recruit in this state to watch you beat the brains out of Ball State compared to a better opponent. So we need better football games. Look, fans are comfortable in their own lazy boy recliner. They can go to the bathroom quick. They can get their food quick. They got a 75-inch TV that costs about $400 at Walmart. They don't have to go and fight the crowd, and they're not going to want to go these. That's why it's embarrassing when all of these teams have empty sections with these cash for clunker games. We need better football. So I wish Greg Sankey would invite me to Destin. I'd make the spill and make all of them shut the hell up.
I love it. Bill Shanks, Georgia insider out of Macon, Georgia. That's South Georgia for our listeners. Close to Jacksonville, Florida, where he likes the world's largest outdoor cocktail party to be played. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Back-to-back national champs. Bill believes that they are the favorite again. So I think the only two teams in the country that could get in Georgia's way would be Bama or LSU. I don't think anybody else outside of the SEC can challenge them Georgia Bulldogs this year. Okay. I was kind of surprised that they extended that game 2 more years in Jacksonville. Bill?
Well, that was a contractual thing. In 26 and 27, they're going to have to close that place down to refurbish it anyway. So that was almost we have to do this. I mean, I think that in the end, Bo, that Jacksonville is going to throw so much money at them that, the one thing that can outbid Kirby Smart is the dollar bill. So I think that it'll stay in Jacksonville with the exception of those 2 years when they'll have to move it home and home. I really do.
Yeah, and that's a good point. The catch here, Bill, is if we go to 9 games on the years where you only have 4 home games and 5 road games, I don't know how the cocktail party on a neutral site, I'm just not sure how exactly that looks or works. Maybe it does, but, I mean, all of us are going to go through that, all of our teams. There'll be some years we have 5 home and 4 away, and some years we have 4 home and 5 away. I'm not sure how that will look, but I love your pass. I'm glad I got to go a couple years ago.
But let me tell you what should happen. I think with the expansion to 12 teams, there should be more neutral site games. Every game to start the year. I mean, I've always said that Georgia and Clemson should start the year off every year no matter what. Georgia should start the year off against Clemson. They're 60 miles from each other. It's a great rivalry. People love to watch that game. That should be game 1 every year. And then Georgia Tech at the end of the regular season. But I'm wondering if there are going to be more neutral site games for teams to play better opponents. Will the Peach Bowl step in and have not only the opening weekend games, will they do something in the mid-year? I'm curious about that. And that may not happen right off the bat, but if these teams realize that they're going to be hurt by these Ball States on the schedule, they may be more open to neutral site games just to improve their strength of schedule.
Okay. All right. What's your I got 1 minute. What's your favorite piece of Georgia gear that you wear?
That I wear? Well, there's so many. Well, I'll tell you this: if we win another championship, I got to move into another house. I don't have another wall.
Oh, I love it.
But between the Braves and the Bulldogs, if we see them win another championship, I got to move into another house because I'm screwed. I have nothing else left. But no, I have a lot of hats. I love hats, and so I grab a hat and parade around with them every day or so.
I love those. I love that black pullover with the white and red Georgia G on it. All right, bud. Look, raise a beer for me in North Jacksonville at the beach, and we'll talk soon.
All righty. Take care.
Bill Shanks, Georgia insider. Large on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Lunch today brought to you by the Catfish Reuben at Highball and Highball Lanes. I'm super impressed with their menu. And you got to try the soul rolls. And by the way, they have Patron tequila, which is awesome, all at Highball in Fondren.